Hello guys, how are you doing? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you found our last video interesting. In the other video we talked about how to cut a senator top and then how to cut a trouser. But right now we are going to be learning how to make a waistcoat. All right. So as we pull through, just stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
All right, so the first thing we do is to spread the cloth on the table and ensure that it's at the back that you're using. You only mark at the back of the fabric. So you spread it and then you make sure it's smooth. Yeah, so you pick your ruler and then you draw the first the line, a straight line from on the piece. Then you measure 2.5 inches. Okay, you do the same thing here. The length of the waistcoat is 24, but you subtract 1 inch from the 24, making it 23. You measure 23 inches, do the same thing that end, 23 inches, and then take off 1.5 inches. Take off 1.5 inches. All right. So just draw another straight line, just to a connecting line, just to connect the both indicators together. You do the same thing here, and then you do the same thing here, and then you draw a straight line from the edge, from the edge, just to ensure that your lines are straight, and then start your measurement from there. Okay, so you just indicate 1.5 inches, the measurements on the piece. This is not mandatory. Yeah, so the next thing, you just measure 1 inch from the edge. Do the same thing there, measure 1 inch and then measure 1 inch. All right, then use your ruler to connect the indicators. As you can see. Then the next thing you need to do is just to add the shoulder. You divide the shoulder by 2. The shoulder is 15, divided by 2 will give you 7.5. So that's it. Okay, so you assume by 7.5. Use your ruler to draw a straight line, then connect it from the shoulder to the armhole. So this is going to be your armhole. Okay, that's your armhole. Then from there you mark your neckline. That's your neckline. I'm using 2.5 inches. Then from the shoulder point to the neckline, you draw a straight line. Okay, then the next thing you will do is the chest. You divide the chest by 4. Remember the shoulder, I said you divide by 2. So here in the chest, waist and hip, you divide by 4. So the chest is 40.5 divided by 4 will give you 10.2, then 10.25. Then you measure your hip and the armhole divided by 2. That stands for your waist. Yeah, then you get to your hip divided by 4. Your hip is 37, your waist is 34, divided by 4, it's 8.5, then 37 divided by 2 divided by 4. That's your hip. Okay, so this is just to ensure that you're not making any mistake of any sort. Okay, there's no mistake of any sort here. Okay, so use your ruler to connect them. Okay, so you draw your line. From the waistline you draw a straight line, and okay, so remember, this thing I'm doing is actually optional. You can choose not to, you can choose to. It's 40 and a half. $34. $37 and a half. Okay, so you add your sewing allowance, 1 inch. 1 inch sewing allowance. Some people would use 1.5, but this is a house tie. This is what you use. 1 inch sewing allowance. So you connect with your curved ruler from the armhole to the waist. Then you change in other direction, and then you measure. You connect it to the hip. Then the next thing is to measure, bring down the hip line a little, about 1/3 of the measurement, and then connect. Measure 2.5 inches. Okay. So you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so you just connect it with your ruler. Ensure you are connecting it from that exact point to the other exact point. Then do the same thing down. Then connect. Okay. Okay, so you just draw your straight line, so you know where you would sew. You run the thread when you're sewing the cloth. Okay, so you take about 4 inches down from the armhole, down to where the 4 inches takes you to. Then you connect. This is the neckline that I'm doing. From that neckline, 2.5 inches down to where it stopped. Then you mark, and then ensure that you're using your curved ruler to do it. The next step is to cut. While cutting, be very careful, and then ensure you're cutting on the lines that you've already marked, so you don't make mistakes. Okay. And after cutting the front face, the next thing you're going to be doing is to mark the back face of the waistcoat. And for you to do that, you have to place the front face that you've already cut on top, leaving about 1.5 inches for the overlap actually. Yes, so you can see how I'm placing it. Okay, then you start. Take 1.5 inches up, then you connect. All right. That's about 2.5 inches. Then you draw your straight line from that point. You saw what I did. take up about quarter. Okay, quarter, and just mark, connect it, yeah, to each other. That's your neckline for the back. You draw your straight line from that point. Just carefully watch what I'm doing. Take off about ½ inch up, then mark so you ensure that it's straight. It connects properly. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so you take off about 1½ inches from the back. Do the same thing at the waist. Okay, you connect with your ruler. Same thing we did when we were cutting the front. So the next thing you will do is just to mark about ½ inch, then run it straight. Okay, so see, use your ruler to take it straight down.
Wow, this is the end of this section on how to cut a waistcoat. So what you do is turn on the notification button, subscribe, share, and like, and also put your comments on the comment section. I will be glad to respond to each and every one of your comments. Thank you. Bye bye.